Have you guys ever been wanting to go vote for president, going after work and having to wait inside of a long line? Maybe after leaving a long shift and having to realize that after all of your time at work, you now have to go to another line and wait longer to make sure that you select your president. My name is Damian Prado, and today we're going to be talking about why I affirm the proposition that the United States federal government should modify the election process. Firstly, one of my first claims that we would need to talk about in order to get to where we need to be is that we should modify the Electoral College as it affects the election process overall for what we have going on. The Electoral College takes away from particular votes, and in today's day and age, it is easy for people to take the time out of their day to go to the polls, but once they actually go and get their votes in, it's a lot harder for those votes to be counted fairly and correctly when the Electoral College actually has the say in who is going to be able to win that state. According to John B. Anderson, who was a lawyer and an American politician with the credibility that he has been in the United States House of Representatives for about 7 years, he represented Illinois in his 16th congressional district. And according to him, on the Readly database, we have a Poison Viewpoints database published in 2008. He states that the climate of voting in 2008 also showed the climate that would happen in the next 15 years. And if you do some math, you can tell that the next 15 years is where we are now. So 2008 to now has had a huge drastic change, and it's been for the negative impact. These changes have not been positive. The Electoral College has still continued to do as much as they could to negatively impact voting rights and voter laws. And I think that the Electoral College is something that should be abolished in order to modify our electoral process and have these votes be counted personally. Another thing we took away from this reading was how the winner can take all in a winner-take-all system for the Electoral College, regardless of population, regardless of voting standards, regardless of race. Even states with fewer residents that might be, say, like Florida, a red state, can turn into a blue state depending on how the Electoral College is going to go ahead and count those votes. So I think that if we're going to modify the election process, the Electoral College is something that we should definitely go ahead and remove. Now, the second claim that I have as to why we should go ahead and modify our electoral college, our voting process in the United States is that the election process needs security when it comes to cybersecurity. We all remember what was happening a few years ago with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton and what happened. Some of my personal experiences was when I was 18 and during 2016 and Hillary Clinton was going against Donald Trump to become the next president of the United States. I do remember how much of those votes were ended up being counted towards cybersecurity hacks, and a lot of times during the next election, when Donald Trump was going ahead and going against Kamala Harris, we also had a lot of different types of cybersecurity issues, including different types of hacking going on, a lot of different types of web-based leaks, and just a lot of different votes being counted in certain places where we shouldn't be counting those votes. According to Atai Shur from Social Choice and Welfare, I found this article in the Political Science database, published in 2025. She did state that cybersecurity is key because it prevents interference with a democratic process, preserves integrity from an election infrastructure, and holds up political competence. This means that cybersecurity is also something that should be addressed and something that we should modify in order for our election process to be better. I believe overall that we should modify the Electoral College as it can have a negative impact on the election process. And the things that we need to modify the election process are the Electoral College. We also need to modify cybersecurity, and we also need to give all of our voters the opportunity to go out there and vote. I thank you for your time, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you very much.